Hey guys, it's me Julie, and today I am here with a game that I've been basically addicted to for the last week. I got City Skylines on sale from Steam, and I played this a lot, an awful lot, and now what I wanted to do is make a video about 5 tips, 5 things that I found that would have been useful to me if I had known them before I started. So now I'm making this video for you guys so you can maybe learn from my mistakes. Tip number 1 is about traffic, and it's basically the question you get when you start a new map. You get these 2 highway lanes leading into your city, and the question is, what the hell do I do with those? So how do I make the best entrance into my city? As you can see, this is not the answer. Definitely not the answer. So yeah, if you do things like this, if you make intersections, a lot of intersections at the beginning of your city, basically everything will get stuck. Magic word is called roundabouts. Build as much roundabouts as you can. No, just kidding, but you can replace really bizarre intersections with roundabouts, and roundabouts are also an amazing way to enter your city. For example, as here. The map was about to here before I purchased a plot of land over there, so here was my entry to the city, and I built this roundabout here as an entrance, and it has these one-way exits. So if you make a really nice angle here, that helps cars get from and to the roundabout quickly. So basically try to get as flat angle as possible and make this nice roundabout as an entrance. So that works really well, and there is almost no traffic problems and there is no congestion. These red things only mean that there are a lot of cars going down these roads, but there is absolutely no congestion. So yeah, a big tip for roundabouts, always use highways if you can. So if you have them, use highways for roundabouts, these 3-lane one-way roads, because cars can go faster on them and they will also not produce traffic lights. So if you use highways or highway ramps in roundabouts, there will be no traffic lights, so that's pretty awesome. And I've used a lot of roundabouts in my city, and it just works great. I use roundabouts whenever I make an entrance to a district from the highway, and yeah, it just works great. The traffic is amazing, so you should really try that if you're having traffic problems at the city entrance. Tip number 2 is also kind of about traffic. As you can see, there are a lot of private cars on these streets as well, driving around. So people basically get into their cars to get to work, get to leisure activities, get to commercial districts, get to other parts of town, and whatever, everything they will use their car for. But there is a nice tip, apart from public transit, like buses, which will also add to your traffic problems with the number of buses on the streets. But apart from buses, there is also another really neat thing that you can do to reduce the number of private cars on the road. Old pedestrian walkways. Pedestrian walkways are my new favorite thing in City Skylines. They reduce traffic so much. You basically have 2 options: a pavement path, which is nicer to walk on, and a gravel path, which is a bit cheaper. So I've used gravel paths often to, let's say, if I have these 2 roads, and I use a pedestrian walkway to connect these 2 here, or these here, because otherwise, if people can't walk between these roads, if they want to go there, they will take a car all the way around here to get there, which is pretty useless. So I build pedestrian walkways everywhere, and if people have a sufficient way to get somewhere, they will. And pavement paths you can also elevate to get them across highways and stuff, and as you can see, tons of people are using the walkways. So just imagine what would have happened if all these people were using their private cars to get around. So they can go to the commercial district over here, which they are doing in mass. They can get to other residential districts. I basically have pathway connections to every major commercial district over here from all the residential districts around town, and people are using them insanely much. So yeah, this has probably reduced, there's not a statistic about it, but this has probably reduced my traffic by 60% or so, I would estimate. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, and you should try doing that whenever you can. Tip number 3 is kind of about traffic as well. I guess everything is kind of about traffic in this game. It's about landfills. So landfills manage your garbage disposal in the city. And you need them because at the beginning of the game you can't build anything apart from landfills to manage your garbage, so you don't really have a choice. But be careful when you start the game and you build your first landfill for your garbage. Be very, very careful about placement, because you cannot delete landfills if they're not empty. So this building is emptying right now, but if I would not do that and garbage was still coming in and it's 60% full, and let's say I want to upgrade this road because it's a 2-lane road and there's not a lot of capacity and I want a bigger road. But there is a problem because I cannot do that because there is a service building in the way, which is a landfill. Now let's say I want to delete the landfill. Well, I can't do that because it's not empty, so this, yeah, it pretty much congests everything around the landfill if you can't upgrade the road properly if you've placed it in a busy area, which I did because I didn't know better. So there are 2 things you can do to get around this problem. The first thing you can do to get around the landfill problem is building it on a local road that you are definitely sure of will always be a 2-lane road. So I've built this district and it's got roads around here, and these roads are bigger, so cars will prefer them and they will go around the landfill, so there's probably not going to be any need to upgrade this road ever, because I can't, because the landfill is there. And the other thing you can do is place the landfill apart as far from everything else as possible, and also on a road that has nothing else on it, because that means you will probably never have to upgrade it. As soon as you have incineration plants, make sure to build these to get rid of your landfills so you can have more freedom in upgrading your roads. Tips number 4 and 5 are about the industry districts. So I've got 3 major industry districts here and a landfill over there, and as you can see, the ground is polluted as hell and it does not look nice. There is tons of pollution, as you can see here, which might affect citizens around here. It also produces tons of noise. Industrial districts produce tons of noise, which decreases land value, and the pollution makes people sick if they live near it. So all of this is not very nice. But your industrial districts don't have to be polluted shitholes, because there are 2 things you can do about it. First is office zones. I think you unlock these at 7,500 citizens. I'm not really sure about it, but at some point when your city is big enough you can unlock these office zones, and while they are blue colored instead of yellow, they still count as industrial zones. So basically, if you have a high demand for industrial like I have right here, you can build office zones instead of factory zones. So if I do that, just as I did here, build a lot of office zones, and as you can see, the office zones here do not pollute the ground, and they also produce almost absolutely no noise. So basically office zones are awesome. However, there's one prerequisite for using office zones, which means that your citizens have to be educated enough to use them. Basically, well-educated people want to be employed in offices, and less educated people will work in industry zones. So make sure that you educate your citizens, build elementary schools, high schools, and universities, very important universities for office zones. So then you can also, if you have districts, you can also use the policy education boost, which you also unlock at 7,500 citizens, which will make people prioritize education over work. So they will all get very educated and start working in your office zone, so you can reduce pollution, you can reduce noise, and basically make everything better. The other thing which you can do if you don't have that well-educated citizens, or if you just want to have industry, factory industry as well, you can specialize your industry district, so they don't have to be general industry which pollutes the ground a lot. So you can choose this district tool and go to specializations, and you can make use of natural resources such as oil, ore, forest and fertile land. While ore and oil industry will still pollute the ground and make a lot of noise, forest industry and farming industry are very nice. I think they still produce noise, but they don't pollute the ground. So the good thing about forest is that even if you don't have any forest around, because there's no forest here, you can just build it yourself. You can just place a bunch of trees, which is a bit of a nuisance because you have to build them all individually and just click a lot and a lot. But yeah, you can do that. You can make your own forest and then just make forest industry here, and you'll have a very nice industry which does not pollute the ground at all. So here's what a forest specialized industry district looks like. It's basically all of this right here, and as you can see when I open the pollution menu, there is no ground pollution in this district. So that's pretty awesome because you can place residential zones near it and people won't get sick. It still produces a lot of noise like any industry does, but yeah, no pollution, so that's a plus. Yeah, that's it for my city skylines tips. This is my current city that I'm actually absolutely in love with. All those roundabouts, traffic is great, and this is pretty much fun. I love this game. I'm so addicted to it, and I hope that maybe you'll try it out, use my tips, let me know if it worked for you in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video.